The Yappening event is out, and with it comes more exposure to the loot cave or campaign variant weapons. You may have noticed some white colored Covenant or yellow tinged UNSC weapons on the walls or in ordnance pods that function a little differently than their vanilla counterparts. Let's take a look at how to effectively utilize all of them in the Yappening playlist and on fragmentation in normal BtB. First, the heatwave. At first glance, it looks like a normal heatwave that just shoots normal projectiles. It's a two-shot body shot with the verticals, but if you shoot the ground, the projectiles actually track towards enemies. In sort of a cone formation you can see here, looks to be about 45 degrees. Next we have the volatile skewer, pretty self-explanatory. Blows up after the initial shot, but also explodes on impact. Really effective against vehicles. Next we have the Breacher BR. It's able to 3-shot burst, or 3-round burst, instead of 4. It also has an increased fire rate. Next we have the Arcane Sentinel Beam, aka the Melt-O-Matic. This thing is an absolute demon of a weapon. Its time to kill is incredibly fast. Another cool thing about the Sentinel Beam is that it has pretty much no damage fall off like you would think it would. So the range is pretty hefty. Next we have the Backdraft Cinder Shot and the Calcine Disruptor. First, the Disruptor. Now at first glance, it seems like a normal Disruptor, but after each shot, there's a burst of shock damage. Usually you need to shoot 3 with the regular Disruptor, so you don't even have to shoot the enemy. You can shoot the ground and it will damage them. It is a great crowd control weapon. Now the Backdraft Cinder Shot is like a normal Cinder Shot, except it has 2 explosions instead of 1 after the initial burst. This allows you to one-shot people. I don't recommend direct impacting people, however, as it appears weaker than the regular Cinder Shot and requires 3 shots to kill. Next we have the Duelist Energy Sword and the Convergence Bulldog. The Duelist Energy Sword is one of my favorites because the movement speed is so fast. The lunge range is increased on the sword, and it's just such an effective tool to use to move around. The best way I found to move around with the energy sword is to sprint, slide, repeat. Hitting drop slides or a grapple slide with this thing will send you flying. You can gain some insane momentum with this thing. Now the Convergence Bulldog also has increased range, not lunge range, but increased range, and a much tighter pellet spread. Its 2-shot range is pretty forgiving, but it's not entirely unlimited. It's still a lot heftier than the normal Bulldog, and you can really fry some people from far away. Next we have the Rebound Ravager. Not a lot to say about this one. I for the life of me can't figure this one out. It just, projectiles bounce a little weird. It doesn't appear to do any extra damage when you direct impact someone, and the charge shot has around 4 or 5 bounces after it explodes. And it just doesn't appear to have any extra damage on a rebounded projectile. Up next, the Flexfire Sniper and the Riven Mangler. First, the Mangler. Now the Mangler actually has 3 pellets that shoot out of it instead of 1. You can see them a little bit better here. It can still 3-shot kill like a normal Mangler, but it can also 3-shot body shot. The 1-shot melee combo is still present on this Mangler as well. Now the Flexfire Sniper. It's able to 2-shot headshot with an increased fire rate. It reminds me of the Carbine, just on crack. This is an insane weapon. Up next, the Purging Shock Rifle. Unlike the normal shock, this is only able to fire 3 rounds out of a 15 pellet magazine. Also, the burst of 5 shockies, I'll call them, don't stick to where your reticle was originally placed, so I do not recommend trying to headshot a moving target. This shock rifle also cannot chain shock damage off of weapons, weapon pads, or other normal shock conductors. However, the shock chain damage between players is absurd, resulting in some nasty crowd control.
Interlinked. Double kill. Triple kill. Overkill.
Now moving on to something a little more moderate and familiar, the M41 Tracker. Similar to the Halo 2 rocket launcher, it's pretty self-explanatory. The rockets can lock on to players, vehicles. The tracking is pretty decent, but not the best. It definitely works better from longer ranges, and I found tracking in the up to down area is a lot better than side to side. Now, this. I love this weapon, the Rapid Fire Pulse Carbine. I'm a big Pulse Carbine enjoyer, and this is just my wet dream, to be completely honest. You can fire one burst to crack an enemy's shields and then quickly swap to a kinetic weapon to get an easy kill, or you can just fire it off and kill people. It takes around 3 bursts to kill somebody, and it does it in an insanely fast fashion. Now we have the Stalker Rifle Ultra. And I know I said the Flexfire Sniper reminded me of the Carbine, but I have to say this one also reminds me of the Carbine. It only features 1 zoom level, and it's just basically a fast-firing Stalker Rifle and takes 4 shots to kill. A 4-shot perfect. Next, the Rushdown Gravity Hammer. An absolute unit. Now, you may have used this before, and even the regular hammer, and wondered, why do I keep getting hit markers? Well, it's not a range issue. The way the hammer works is the damage sort of goes in a cone, similar to the heatwave that we talked about earlier, the tracking. So no matter what with the Rushdown Hammer, if you're within 13 meters of your target and your crosshair is on them, they will die. However, if your crosshair deviates a little too far to the left or the right, you will not kill them. The key thing is just being within that 13 meters and making sure your crosshair is directly on them. Up next we have the Pursuit Hydra. Pretty similar to the normal Hydra, however I noticed that the tracking actually locks on a lot quicker. It takes 3 shots with both tracking and non-tracking to kill a player. You're also able to still one-shot melee combo. And similar to the normal Hydra, it's also really effective against vehicles. Now the Pinpoint Needler, another one of my favorites. It takes 8 shots to kill, as you can see here. The speed of the projectiles is increased substantially. The clip size is increased. And as you can see, the tracking is just absurd. And lastly, we have the Unbound Plasma Pistol. Similar to the upgraded Mangler, the charge shot actually fires 3 pellets instead of 1. The normal shots actually track on the enemies. The tracking's pretty weak, however. I noticed too that the charge shot seems to track a lot faster and a lot more consistently. And even if you don't hit all of your pellets out of the charge shot, it'll still damage them pretty heavily. It's also really rare, but you can actually completely one-shot somebody with a charge shot if you're close enough. And that's all I have for you guys today. I want to give a shout out to Accelerate for the inspiration to make this video. He did some great breakdowns on the upgraded shock rifle and heatwave I'll link below. Bottom line is, pick these weapons up. They're not only fun to use, the vast majority of them are incredibly effective. Have fun with the Yappening event, and I hope to see you guys out there. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe, and if you didn't, do nothing. P.S. I love you, Joe Staten.